Although I watched the misfortunes of the ghost in the bowler with some complacency, I found, when we were left alone, that I could not bear the presence of the water giant. It did not appear to take any notice of me, but I became self-conscious, and I rather think there was some assumed nonchalance in my movements as I walked away over the flat rocks downstream again. I was beginning to feel tired. Looking at the silverfish, which darted over the riverbed, I wished greatly that to me also, that the water were permeable. I should have liked a dip. Thinking of going back, said a voice close at hand. I turned and saw a tall ghost standing with its back against a tree, chewing a ghostly cherut. It was that of a lean, hard-bitten man with gray hair and a gruff, but not uneducated voice. The kind of man I have always instinctively felt to be reliable. I don't know, I said. Are you? Yes, it replied. I guess I've seen about all there is to see. Time to walk on the grass. A human being couldn't live here. All that idea of staying is only an advertisement stunt. Then why did you come? Oh, I don't know. Just to have a look around. I'm the sort of chap who likes to see things for himself. Wherever I've been, I've always had a look at anything that was being cracked up. When I was out east, I went to see Pelkin. When? What was Pelkin like? Nothing to it, just one darn wall inside of another, just a trap for tourists. I've been pretty well aware, everywhere. Niagara Falls, the pyramids, Salt Lake City, the Taj Mahal. What was it like? Not worth looking at. Not worth looking at. They're all advertisement stunts, run all by the same people. There's a combine, a world combine, that just takes an atlas and decides where they'll have a site. Doesn't matter what they choose, anything will do as long as the publicity's properly managed. And you've lived down there in the town for some time. And you've lived down there in the town for some time. In what they call hell, yes. It's a flop too. They lead you to expect red fire and devils and all sorts of interesting people sleazing on grids. Henry VIII and all that. But when you get there, it's just like any other town. I prefer it up here, I said. I prefer it up here, I said. Well, I don't see what all the talk is about, and the hard-bitten ghost. Well, I don't see what all the talk is about, said the hard-bitten ghost. It's all good as any other park to look at, and darn uncomfortable. There seems to be some idea that if one stays here, one would get more solid or more acclimated. There seems to be some idea that if one stays here, one would get, well, solider. grow acclimatized. I know all about that, said the ghost. Same old lie. People have been telling me that sort of thing all my life. They told me in the nursery that if I were good, I'd be happy. And they told me at school that Latin would get easier as I went on. After I'd been married a month, some fool was telling me that there was always difficulties at first, but with tact and patience, I'd soon settle down and like it. And all through 2 wars, what didn't they say about the good time coming if only I'd be a brave boy and go on being shot at? Of course, they'll play the old game here if anyone's fool enough to listen. But who are they? This might be run by someone different. Entirely new management, huh? Ah, don't you believe it. It's never a new management. You'll always find the same old ring. I know all that, dear. Kind mummy along come up to your old bedroom and getting all she wants to know out of you. But you always found she and father were the same firmly, really. Didn't we find both sides and all the wars were run by the same firmament, the armament firms? Or the same firm, which is behind the Jews and the Vatican and the dictators and the democracies and all the rest of it. All this stuff up here is run by the same people as the town. They're just laughing at us. I thought they were at war. Of course you did. That's the official version. But who's... I thought they were at war. Of course you did. That's the official version. But who's ever seen any signs of it? Oh, I know that's how they talk. But if there's a real war, why don't they do anything? Don't you see that if the official version were true, these chaps here would attack and sweep the town out of existence? They've got the strength. If they wanted to rescue us, they could. But obviously, the last thing they want is to end their so-called war. The whole game depends on it keeping on going. This account of the matter struck me as uncomfortably plausible, and I said nothing. Anyway, said the ghost, who wants to be rescued? What the hell would there be to do here? Or there, I said. Quite, said the ghost. They've got you either way. Quite, said the ghost. They've got you either way. What would you like to do if you had your choice? I asked. There you go, said the ghost with a certain triumph, asking me to make a plan. It's up to the management to find something that doesn't bore us, isn't it? It's their job. Why should we do it for them? That's just where all the parsons and moralists have got the thing upside down. They keep on asking us to alter ourselves. But if the people who run the show are so clever and so powerful, why don't they find something to suit their public? All this poppycock about growing harder so that the grass doesn't hurt our feet now. There's an example. What would you say if you went to a hotel where the eggs were all bad And when you complained to the boss, instead of apologizing, he changed his dairyman. Or instead of apologizing and changing his dairyman, he just told you that if you tried, you'd get to like the bad eggs in time. Well, I'd be getting along. I'd be getting along, said the ghost after a short silence. You coming my way? There doesn't seem to be any much point in going anywhere on your showing, I replied. A great depression had come over me. And at least it's not raining here. Not at the moment, said the hard-bitten ghost. But I never saw one of those bright mornings that didn't turn into rain later. And by gum, when it does rain here, you hadn't thought of that? It hadn't occurred to you that with the sort of water they have here, every raindrop will make a hole in you, like a machine gun. That's their little joke, you see. First of all, tantalize you with ground you can't walk on, and water you can't drink, and then drill you full of holes. But they won't catch me that way. A few minutes later, he moved off.